It is Matt Mosley's show on the YouTube version. Well, we're all over Twitter. We're everywhere you could possibly find a device. We're happy to have you. It's been a crazy weekend. Got the big news, and I think the news that really frustrated a lot of folks the other day. We, of course, reacted to it Friday with President Livingstone sending out remarks that in a letter that of the reasons and why they were hanging on to Dave Aranda. Then the Bears were able to go out Saturday after Scotty did a nice pregame show over there. Of course, you can see a lot of our work on KWTX in town, and then the green and gold pregame show that we've done all season. Some strong material, and then the Baylor goes out and they did what they do. They got blown off the field 41-17. Good at the half. Up 17-14, never scored again, never really did much of note. I think there was a pick six maybe mixed in there. I mean, it was pitiful. And the one thing we will not do is subject you to what happened on this play? I mean, the whole Baylor family right now is in kind of a state of disrepair, depression, whatever you want to call it. Although I'm a little bit, I don't know if I need to diagnose it as that, but it's not good. And we'll, I'll tell you what, we're going to start with Cowboys, and then we'll transition into some Baylor. There's some interesting things to get to. And by the way, on a Baylor-related type note, the breaking news coming down, it becomes official earlier today, that Art Briles is going to be a head football coach again in college football. I mean, I went to his thing in Waco the other day. He was going to ask about, would he still like to coach? And he just kind of played it down. I guarantee you, obviously, this was at least in the works. And I don't think this just came about over a period of a few days. And somebody he worked with when he was at the University of Houston is now the AD. I think the guy's name is Fite, maybe Kevin Fite, Fite, is at Eastern New Mexico State. And Scotty, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what town that is or what city that is in New Mexico. We can certainly look that up. I can tell you the mascot is the Greyhounds. I do think Baylor brought in a backup quarterback from there at some point, and I think there have been other quarterbacks who've played fairly well in the transfer portal that came out of Eastern New Mexico State. But he is going to be, I always thought if he had any chance at all, it was like Mike Leach or somebody that didn't mind all the backlash, bringing him in to be like an offensive coordinator, or even maybe an analyst on his son-in-law's staff. He's got a son at TCU. He's got a son-in-law at Mississippi State. I thought I would take something like that. He is the head coach at Eastern New Mexico. Now, I've been in touch with Art, and he did say, give him a couple days, and he, come on the show. Now, I don't want to bet the house on that because Art is, I would say my relationship with Art is fine. Art's trust of the media in general and how things would be taken, whatever he says, he'll have to do a news conference, and boy, some of that will be out there. But yeah, I think we may pop Art on. It's kind of an interesting week to do it, Thanksgiving week. I think, Scotty, if I've interpreted correctly, what our bosses are thinking here at Rogue Media Network, you and I may not have shows Thursday and Friday. I think the rest of the week we'll probably be doing our thing. Will we go the full bore? We'll go full energy. There may be a couple of days this week we say we might not make it to the finish line till 3:00. I don't know. We'll just see. Today is kind of feels like one of those days. I've got a lot to say, but I'm also I do not mind telling you my attention is the Baylor Bears are playing during our show. and the men are playing Creighton. The women did get a win. It took a great play by our friend. Her last name is spelled Deng. I believe you say Dong, is how you pronounce our last name. She took a ball with the game on the line and made the most gorgeous move and play and saved the Bears, because that would have been horrible. Back-to-back losses. That loss to Iowa was, again, it's respectable because Iowa's a great program, but the way it happened was ugly. Horrible shooting. They played good defense. Iowa couldn't hit anything either, but it was a bad. But the Bears are going to find out who they are early in the season, because Doug McDermott. Wait, what's Doug? Doug's the son. What's this McDermott's name? Anyway, Coach McDermott, Dougie McBuckets was his son. Baylor once beat them in a NCAA regional. Greg McDermott is this guy's name. Sometimes I just have to just kind of think, let the fog clear. And then the good news is it's all up there, but just sometimes I have to kind of think for a second. Greg McDermott. And by the way, that started when I was about 32 years old. All right. So it's not like, oh my, is Mosley having some things go on? No, this has been around for about 20 years. But the good news is it's all up there somewhere. Sometimes I do need, though, to lean on the young mind of one Scotty Swingler, who's with us as always today. And he's been hard at work putting some things together, all kinds of graphics we have for you. Scotty's got some beautiful graphics that'll display just sort of the Baylor coaches over the last 10, 20 years. We'll take a peek since the dawn of the new age, since 2000, at some of these coaches, and we'll react to some of that. And again, some of this breaking news that we have coming in, we're going to keep a close eye on the Lane Kiffin situation, because Lane, they're going to let him focus on the Egg Bowl. And then I think by Saturday, we might need a decision from Lane. Florida, LSU, will he stay at Ole Miss? What's that contract going to look like? What's it going to look like? Who's going to be the interim coach for Ole Miss? I was up there talking to an Ole Miss guy at the Cowboys game yesterday, and he told me who it would be. I'm trying to think now. That's an interesting situation. Okay, but let's start today. 17 minutes into the show, but let's start with Cowboys. That was really something. Down 21-0. We've all seen that thing play out. It just seemed like a long slog, and were they going to do something? They finally hit back and got it to 21-7 at the half, but everybody's just like, nah, it's not going to happen. At halftime, Scotty, I sat down with old friend Sal Powell. Sal Paolantonio was in town for ESPN. He's everywhere with Philadelphia. Sal was a little down, and I didn't understand what was going on. Sal lost a friend. He found out, sadly, during the game, during the first half. So part of what we did is what you do, Scotty, with your buddies in the media or your buddies in general out there in life. You just, Tim Calishaw and I just sat with him going into the third quarter and let him talk for a little bit about his friend and a tough deal what Sal Powell was dealing with. But we were also, Sal Powell said on a football note, he said, this thing is not over. And we looked at Sal Powell and we said, it kind of is. It's 21-7. Obviously, the Cowboys can't stop anybody. Jalen Hurts can get anything he wants. A.J. Brown's getting a ton of targets. They went deep on Devontae Smith on that one play. Cowboys can't cover. They can't stop these guys. And then, Scotty, the unexplainable happened. The unbelievable happened. And that was, now we won't count that final. Eagles knelt on the ball. That kneeling took place at the end of the first half. All right. So we're not going to count that as a real drive. All right. The next 7 drives, they yielded 0 points. How in the world did the Cowboys defense step up and keep the team in the game and preserve the right to come back? Because it's not like the Cowboys offense. Think about the first half. You got Turpin lines up the backfield. Why are you doing that? He's 145 pounds. about 150-pound kid, and you're trying to run him back there like he's a tailback. I mean, like he's Adrian Peterson. Let's put the tiny little man back there. Despite Javonte Williams running the ball great, let's put the little man back there, hand him the ball, and he comes through the line. He coughs it up. I mean, he had some weirdness in that game. He did have one great play in the center of the field where he took off for about 45 yards, so let's give him that. But that was a weird game. One time he called for a fair catch, and then he took off running after he called for the fair catch. Strange game for the young man. You had that play. You had Dak down there in the first half trying to get the Cowboys in it. Here they are. Okay, maybe the comeback is started. Down 21-0. Dak down there on the goal line. They're first and goal. They were at least second and goal. I think first and goal. They're down there on the 1, maybe second and goal. And Guyton, false start. Guyton was just in another world. He gets hurt in that game. And honestly, Cowboys kind of caught a break because he was playing poorly. And he had a tripping penalty. That's the stuff Flozell used to do. Flozell used to make some of the Justin Tuck and some of the players so mad, reaching out that big leg and tripping people, hurting people. That's the kind of stuff he used to pull. And Guyton reached out there. He got beat. And he reached out there and tripped somebody. So anyway, he gets hurt. Nate Thomas comes in. But Dak down there from second and third and goal on the 6-yard line tries to fit the ball in there and leaves it behind the guy. I think that was CD out there. And Reed Blankenship picks that ball off. I mean, there were so many times it felt like, well, they lost the game. Okay, well, they lost that opportunity. One came really late. They'd come all the way back. They get down there, and instead of going up 24-21, they go for it down there. They don't get it. Another play after the punch out, they get down there, and they don't. I mean, it just time. I mean, obviously the Lions had gone for it like 5 times the week before against the Eagles and not got it on any of them. And it's almost like the Cowboys didn't learn any of that. Early first possession of the game, they're on their own 45-yard line. They're like, oh, let's go. Didn't get it. So Cowboys, I mean, really, it felt like the whole time, Scotty, should have lost that ball game, and they found a way. And they get the ball back. Now, how did they get the ball back at the end? Well, Oso Digizua goes back there. It's like 3rd and 2. I mean, a very manageable situation for the Eagles. They drop back to pass, and Odigizua tracks him down. Quinnen played great. Overshone was good against Saquon. I mean, Saquon had his moments in this game, but he had the huge – Sam Williams had the punch out. I believe Kenneth Murray recovered that one. And then, of course, the Cowboys had that great special teams play, and every college and high school coach and every coach is going to be showing their team that play because Elijah Clark, undrafted rookie, number 38, I've seen him around. I don't know much about him. He comes down as the gunner, and they're just killing. I mean, they're just crushing him. They knock him down to the ground. He keeps getting up. They're just almost look like a bullying type situation. They're just completely just hammering this poor kid, and he kept coming. And he got all the way down there. And if that sucker doesn't make the play on the ball carrier, Marquise Bell goes high, Clark goes low, and ball comes out of there, and the Cowboys recover. Of course, they don't score, but there's still huge moments in that game. And then the Cowboys get the big sack from Osa Odigizua, and they win the game. Now, Scotty, we after the game, Jerry always is there. It's crazy getting down there in typical Cowboys fashion. They've given the media like the same elevator as like all the fans coming down from the suites. So you're desperately trying to get down there to do your job, and you can't get on an elevator because all the fans are on the same elevator. So now they've been sending us on a freight elevator, and it holds a lot of people, but it also holds like all the food and everything. So you're on there crowded around. I mean, again, there are people that have it worse in life than the reporters who cover the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just painting a picture for you. And they put us on a freight elevator. We get down there. So I go racing around because Jerry's already started talking. So I could let you hear all of what Jerry had to say, but I don't think that's the best use of our time because we got a lot to hit today. And we're trying to kind of keep up with the Bears in this Baylor-Creighton game, and I want to see what's going on there. And I was relieved to see, Scotty, that it doesn't look like Creighton starting a center at 2 forwards and 3 guards. Usually, every time I've ever gone up against Creighton or remember us playing them, they've got some big 7-footer. Last year it was Kalkbrenner. They generally have some big man who is incredibly tough to stop, and that did not seem to be the case today. Bears and Creighton playing as we speak over on True TV. I'm not trying to send anybody away. I almost also aware that a lot of people watch our show once it gets archived, so I understand. If you're watching our show later today and you're watching the Baylor game live, I get it. It's over there on True TV, and you can check some of that out. All right, this was, though, I had a little back and forth. You'll see me kind of standing back there behind Jerry. Why am I always back there? Am I trying to get on TV? The answer is no. The truth is that's the best way I can get back there and actually get my phone in position to capture Jerry audio. And now, why do I have sunglasses on even now? But in those, well, because when I don't, you see me doing like weird stuff with my eyes and making the craziest faces. The sunglasses give me the best chance to sort of look like a normal human, although that's not normal human behavior, okay? There's some things you just can't explain in life. Here is kind of my back and forth after the game, and I'm kind of trying to quiz Jerry on what did he think when the Cowboys is 21-21, it's 4th down, all they got to do is go out there, and with about 3 minutes left, they can take a 24-21 lead. What did he think about the Cowboys deciding to go for it instead of taking the field goal, which would have put them up 24-21?
We could have hoped for.
What were you thinking when you didn't take the field goal down there, when you went for it on 4th down, 21-21? What was your thought in that moment with that decision?
When we didn't make it, I wish we had made the field goal. I'm not kidding. I thought, well, I guess there is a choice, but the minute we didn't make it, I certainly thought the coach made a bad decision. And I say that smiling. Of course, we all knew that unless we were at the end of the ball game, it was going to take more than a field goal to win this thing, unless they didn't let them have the ball again. I believe that. Everything we saw out there would indicate that. So I'm good with the call. All right, guys.
Okay. And then, of course, Scotty, which I didn't share with our audience, there was another like 5-6 minutes. And then there's some guys, what'll happen down there is you kind of see people with media passes that you've never seen in your life, which is fine. Again, it's not like I'm a security guy. I'm not checking, but they were on the outside of the little rope where we're interviewing Jerry. Once the cameras went away, there were about 4 of us who kept talking to Jerry for a little bit. We walked him to where he gets on an elevator to go back up to his suite and have whatever kind of post-game celebration and visit with family and all that kind of stuff. And there were these guys that with like Scottish accents, or I don't know where they're from, Irish, wherever they're from, they started asking him about Post Malone and all this stuff, and I don't know. They were like shouting questions. So anyway, it's always interesting, never dull moment with Jerry. Now, Scotty, you and I both know, and Scotty's the ultimate when it comes to the Cowboys. It still doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. I think Scotty and I going into this game, though, were kind of like, you know what, interesting against the Raiders, kind of fun to watch those new guys play. You beat the Eagles. It just starts to kind of, maybe it's kind of interesting. Now, Chiefs, who should have gotten beat, Chiefs were down 20-9 against the Colts, come back and win that game in overtime and beat the Colts 23-20. I think that gets the Chiefs to 6-5. Here they come in to play the Cowboys team that I don't know, Scotty, if the Cowboys had fallen to 4-6-1, you just been like, okay, yeah, we're all going to go out there. We'll have a nice Thanksgiving. We'll go watch a game. It'll be fun to see Patrick Mahomes back in the area, near where he grew up. but this feels different. Cowboys back to 500. Chiefs one game above 500. The Chiefs are not, they're good, but they're not a juggernaut. Would I bet on the Chiefs to win this game? I would. But after the Cowboys erasing a 21-point deficit, the way the defense is playing with Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, I thought Overshown specifically did a nice job with Saquon. Several of those times, Scotty, I'm sure you saw it too. There were moments where I thought, oh gosh, Saquon's got him in space, and then Overshown would make the tackle. You're seeing more from Siobhan Ravel. You're seeing more. Now, there were some bad moments. Jalen Hurts was down there around the goal line and made about 3 people miss. And Donovan Wilson was one of them. But I'd still rather have, you have Malik Hooker out there, Donovan Wilson. You have your full complement of defensive players. I did see Quinnen get hurt. Saquon put a nice, shot on his ribs. He chipped him on one play. And I forget, college, there's a real specific rules where you can't hit someone like when they're engaged. I can't remember exactly if the NFL rules are a little different on that. But, Quinnen was trying to fight a tackle, I believe it was. And the running back, Saquon, just took a shot at his ribs. And he came back and he played and he sore. And I don't even know what the deal is with the ribs, but Quinnen Williams played through the pain. And I was impressed with a lot of things the Cowboys did, and including on the offensive side of things, even when they were down 21-7, like they kept running the football, and it helped the play action. They're really good in the play action game. And then they started to victimize the Eagles secondary. But I think running the ball and continuing to have that threat was very, very important. And Javonte Williams ended up having a really nice game. I think he ran for 80 to 90 yards. And then Scotty, Malik Davis, number 43, some really good runs in that game, including in the fourth quarter when he got loose. Man, he looks quick. He looks fast. Malik Davis was activated. I don't know, whatever happened to the kid that was supposed to help him so much, Jaden Blue from University of Texas. I hadn't seen nor hide nor hair of him, but pretty good ability by the Cowboys to continue that. All right, we got Baylor versus Creighton. We got a lot of Baylor. We got Art Briles is now a head coach in college football. I know there are Baylor people. We're like, please bring him back. That was never going to happen. Okay, let's do something that Art used to always talk about. We believe in reality. And I remember Ian McCall saying that at Baylor University. I'm trying to remember. He used to say Baylor. At Baylor, we believe in reality. And that was one thing I remember Ian saying to me. And the reality of it is Art can come back and maybe even be right there on the edge of campus and have a nice visit, and we can welcome him back. And there may be a time when Art's old and gray, and he's kind of getting there, that he could come back on the Baylor campus or come to a game or something, and maybe, who knows. But Art Briles is a coach in college again. We'll have more on all that. And then just more reaction now that I've had more conversations. Baylor got killed the other day. Water is wet. What's new? They got crushed in the second half. We cheered for them like crazy. If you think we're the kind of media people, by the way, and I don't usually like to admit that I cheer for things, but when it's my alma mater, and Scotty and I were out there in that first half, and his friend Billy shows up, and then I recognized from my, guy used to be over at the Baylor Club, an old friend of mine. I was like, dadgummit, I know that guy. Very, very nice guy. But we were rooting for the Bears like crazy. And then just the cratering that occurred in the second half, extremely unfortunate. And it's extremely unfortunate what's happening with the program right now. We'll react to all of that as we do. We're live on Twitter. And then all our Twitter audience, you need to go over. And I need you to subscribe. Davis, I know you've been watching a lot. I'm afraid it's hurting your legal practice there. you're watching too much Mosley. But we always encourage. I even think Chase out there in Marshall, Texas, has discovered the Mosley show. Guys, sign up though on the YouTube, for goodness sakes. You go to the YouTube channel, hunt for Matt Mosley show, sign up, and then you can get in the little comments there. And you can say, hey, Mosley, here's what I think about Jerry, or here's where I think the Cowboys are going, or here's what you do. But and we'll feature that on the show. We need to hear from our sponsors. Thank you, CNB. Thank you for your unbelievable patronage and your partnership. We appreciate you. Thank you, Ascension Providence. Thank you for our lawyers. When it's us, we always need to have a team of lawyers ready. And Cherry Johnson, Siegmund James are always on hand in case I say something that we may need defense on. No, those guys from a plaintiff's attorney standpoint, and some of these truck driving cases out there, and some of the stuff that happens to people, the judgments they get, unbelievable. And they're just great at what they do. And they've also been extremely loyal to the Mosley show over the years. And then Scott James was just named as something big here recently. Oh yeah, over at Baylor, he's a fellow over there now, like a Jaworski fellow they call it. And if you know that last name, no, I'm not talking about Ron, I'm not talking about Jaws, I'm talking about Leon Jaworski, one of the most famous lawyers of all time. Go look up Watergate and Jaworski. But anyway, and it's a famous part of the name on a famous law firm as well. But a Baylor lawyer back in the day. But Scott James, now a Jaworski fellow over there at the Baylor Law School. All right. It is and his wife's an accomplished, Leanne James. Leanne Guest James, very accomplished attorney, I might add. Has helped Baylor through some tough times as well. It is the Mosley Show. We continue on, and let's talk Baylor. Let's do it next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics booth in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Welcome back. Matt Mosley Show. Scotty Swingler here for Underdog. And I got to admit, I missed on Saturday. Bear Bachmeyer let me down by about 8 yards. And Sawyer Robertson, man, we're going to talk about this Baylor debacle here in a minute. Only threw one touchdown. Very abnormal day for the Robertson man. Lost me some money. But you know what's great about Underdog? We don't stop when we lose our college football picks. We just make picks the next Monday night. Here are my picks. Take Cade Cunningham higher on these points, y'all. Indiana Pacers run the ball. They are a fast back and forth team. There's a lot of points in all their games. And they're also kind of terrible this year without Tyrese Halliburton. Let's be honest about it. Cade Cunningham, quietly one of the best players in the NBA. He's going to have a big night scoring tonight. Brock Purdy, higher than 1.5 touchdowns. Why are we questioning this dude? I do not understand the narratives around Brock Purdy. By the way, it's not like Carolina's any good. Purdy playing lights out since he came back from injury. I've got him with higher than 1.5 touchdowns tonight on Monday Night Football. And speaking of, here's a little bit of an odd one. Chuba Hubbard's worst rushing game in the last 6 weeks, 14 yards. So if you can knock this to 9.5 like I have here, higher than 9.5 rushing yards, Chuba Hubbard will be in double digits, even if it's 11. Even if it's 11, it's going to hit. And again, what's great about Underdog, you use that flex pick. And if I get 2 of these 3, I win money. If I get 3 of 3, I just win more money. Use that promo code Mosley. Get that $50 of free bonus cash when you sign up and deposit $5. It is free money. You want to do it. I want you to do it. And you know, I don't want to speak too much for him, but maybe, just maybe, Matt Mosley also wants you to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair point, and I would love for you to participate in that. And that's Scotty's playing the odds there that Chuba Hubbard will go for 9.5 yards, or go higher than 9.5 yards, I should say, using the proper Underdog vernacular. Thank you for being with us, Underdog. And Scotty, these folks do not advertise with us yet, but I was so thrilled that you had the idea the other day, because it was just such a gorgeous day. And there's a place in the Metroplex that I've been to, and I love a bratwurst really more than most people. I love a good hot dog as well at a game, or sausage dog, but I prefer the brat to really all of the sausage family. And in fact, the bratwurst, I mean, you can get some of that. I know Slovacek's is a member of the Rogue Media network family and all that kind of stuff. You get some good brats over there. Get some good brat. I can tell you where to get a brat in the Dallas area. But Scotty, we ended up at a place called the Doghouse the other day. And that was a really nice scene. I thought the guy, I wish I could remember his name. He gave us his name. I thought our server our bartender was really good. We sat there at the bar, and just a pretty day, and watched that first half, and just had I just thought it was a great setting. And Scotty, I have to say, there was no I guess the decision that President Livingstone made can make people stop rooting against the Bears. They were rooting sometimes. I think even people that loved Baylor so wanted a change. They wanted Baylor to lose. And so now you can stop doing that, because no matter what, Dave Aranda is coming back next year. And as I wrote about the other day, Scotty, I think after we were off the air, this was the best, I think, what President Livingstone ended up deciding. This was the best of a lot of bad options. This was the best of some really awful options. Like, there was nothing in that letter, and I know people are like, oh, this part of that letter or this part of the letter I don't like. I heard some of you and I heard Tim Watkins and Ganaway were on Please Bear With Me with you yesterday, and I think Ganaway certainly had some problems with the letter. You know, Watkins can get fired up, but then Watkins will kind of fall back into the green and gold. Hey, I'm here for you, Bears. I'm here for you through the thick and thin. But I think there were some things I noticed that our man Ganaway had some issues with the letter. There were some things that caught my eye very early on when we got that news Friday that he was being retained. And I mean, you know, the worst was you don't want to like look at mediocrity and look at being just average and then have a letter or a press release that says we do not accept mediocrity, or we are not complacent. Well, no, that's exactly that. You can't, like, just because we say something doesn't make it true. So that part of it I didn't really understand. Now, the part of the letter that I understood was we got this max settlement. They didn't say that, but they got that. They got these buyouts. They don't want to. Dave got a deal like through 2029 based off that great 2021 season. They just, and really what the other part of that is, these pool of candidates out there, they're like, you know, the bottom line is what they really would like to say, if they could just be completely honest, is Mac put us in an untenable situation. And we're going to say kind things about him because he deserves to have kind things said about him. He took over in 2016, just a stinker of a situation, just a stink bomb. All the stuff, the NCAA, the conference was fining Baylor. There was a scandal. And I know people are like, well, it was ESPN's fault or it was so-and-so's fault. Well, whatever. It had happened. And so Matt came in, made a great hire in Matt Rule, brought stability to the program. I mean, you know, as much as he and Kim ended up hating each other, they did win a national title together in 2019. Then we win a national title in basketball in 2021. And by the way, if you're listening to us, I'm kind of pausing the game because obviously I want to watch the whole Baylor game play out, but I am for the enjoyment of our audience. I do want to bring you up to date. I hope I'm not ruining anything for you, Scotty. But so just close your ears, Scotty, if you don't want to know the score. But I'm going to go ahead and give the score real quick because we are doing a live show. Still in the first half, Baylor up 40-33. Baylor up 40-33. They taken a 10-point lead a minute ago. Looks like Creighton just hit a 3. And Agbum scored the first 2 of the game, and he's come out hot for the Bears. In fact, they're 6 of 8 from 3. And they've had, everybody's scoring. I mean, Agbum is leading all scorers in this game with 13 points. And Creighton only has one player with like 9. They're doing okay. But anyway, Bears up 42-33. So high scoring affair in the first half. And I absolutely love that. My gosh. Let's keep that thing going. I mean, we need some good news. As the Bears take a all right, yeah, just about. This is so funny, Scotty. I wish you could just see what I'm seeing right now. Anyway, the Bears have taken now an 11-point lead, 44-33. Scotty, can we just show True TV? Is there any problem with us just
that? Yes, that will get our live stream immediately shut down.
Can we just comment live on the game? Just put it up there. That would be kind of fun. Cameron Carr has 10. And Agbum has 13. They've combined for 23. And Carr's doing it all. He's not doing it from the 3-point line. Man, they're playing well. This is awesome. And I was just seeing if anybody kind of had a standout, from a rebounding perspective. Everybody's rebounding well. So, yeah, this is awesome, man. And my man Ike Williams comes off the bench, 5 points in 5 minutes. So there you go. Bears playing well. We'll see if they can get it home. They're in that. And Scotty, we can, if you want to throw the Campus Confidential, we'll just continue. We'll take one more break, do a little more Baylor after the break, but we'll do some Campus Confidential. Anything you want to bring up? Because Scotty, I do want to put that. I do want to get that graphic up as we talk about Baylor football, Baylor athletics, and everything. Okay, just wanted to update you on that. I do, Scotty, want to also mention Baylor soccer. Thank you, because we're talking about the football programs in a ditch, and it's awful, and I hate that. But this soccer coach is flat out, and Scotty, I might have been on to something. I think people are trying to hire our Michelle Leonard from us as we speak. I do think, and of course, it's a great time to poach people from Baylor because we don't have an AD right now. We have interim ADs, and Jovan and Cody, great folks, and they're doing a great job, but it's not a great time for the Bears to be trying to hold on to people. I hope they do, but Michelle Leonard is a hot commodity, and the Bears lost yesterday to Ohio State in double OT. We tied it up in about I'm trying to remember what minute it was, 65th minute, 70th minute. Anyway, tied it up. Bears were in good shape, got to double OT, and then in double OT, the Ohio State, the team that knocked out the top seed in the tournament, Notre Dame. That's why Notre Dame was getting to host this thing. Ohio State knocked them out, and the Bears took them to the brink. And I'm going to go back and watch more of it. But what I'm told, Scotty, we talked to the coach the other day about Azul, the goalkeeper who came from TCU transfer. They said she was just brilliant in this game. Just like, just turning them away over and over and over to give the Bears every possible chance to win this game. Bears lose that one 2-1. They made it to the Sweet 16, could not quite make it to the Elite Eight. But a big round of applause for our Bears. Wow, that was an amazing thing. As we do some Campus Confidential, Scotty, we'll take a quick break here in a minute. You want to take it now, and then we'll come back and kind of wrap things up, and we got some more college. I'll tell you what, let's do that. Let's take care of our good folks, our great sponsors, and then we'll come back and we'll do some Campus Confidential because we got Lane Kiffin, we got college football, we got more Baylor. I just wanted to bring you up to date on the basketball, but I do have more thoughts on what I'm hearing, what President Livingstone's choices were. And we are trying to get President Livingstone to come on the Mosley show. I think this would be a good spot for her because we'll ask all the appropriate questions. If you go on your own deal, what are all the people who are mad going to say? You're just bringing in your home team to do it. I'm like home team, but not really. We would do a great job, and they know we would. But they're deciding how to do this, and I'm sure they're for now just sort of letting things lie for a little bit, and we'll see where this goes. But I think that President Livingstone would be wise to do some interviews, and I think she'd be wise to come on the Matt Mosley show, and we're hoping to have that. And why not? Why not go on with? Why not come on with a Baylor graduate who she's known since she became president and has a great relationship with? It seems like that would. And am I making self-serving comments? Absolutely, I am. But she should come on our show. It'd be a good forum because all the appropriate things will be asked, and there'll be some tough questions. I'm not going to hide the ball on that, but at the same time, it will not be anything kind of like confrontational, like we're going to be disrespectful in any possible way. That will not happen. Let's take care of our folks, and then let's do some Campus Confidential. That's next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Matt Piffle, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mappiffle.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
The Matt Mosley Show. And we got live action going on. I was just reading, Scotty, on Thanksgiving night, we'll have the Egg Bowl between Mississippi and Mississippi State. And I love this. I was looking at this thread from Ross Dellinger. The Petty goes back to the founding of one of the schools. By the way, we're doing Campus Confidential, all right, where we do a lot of college athletics. We'll talk a lot of Baylor. We'll do one last nice, meaty segment here, and then we're going to leave it with you so we can watch the end of this Baylor game, because there are a lot of people listening to us right now are Baylor people, and we have lots of Cowboys fans too. So I don't want to leave you guys hanging, but we did talk a lot of Cowboys early, and we had my exchange with Jerry Jones on. I did look, Scotty, to see what Brian Schottenheimer said about going for it down there, and he just kind of thought that, hey, Philadelphia had a kicker with a big leg. They probably would have been able to at least tie it up. They're an explosive team. He thought they had momentum and they should go for it down there. And he ended up not paying for it. He said he would do it again. He would do it again. I hope he wouldn't do it again if he knew the outcome, but of course you don't ever know the outcome. Jerry Jones was questioning him a little bit in good-natured fun after the game in an exchange with me. The Egg Bowl could be Lane Kiffin's last opportunity to coach the Ole Miss Rebs. Scotty, I thought you'd like this. The Petty goes back to the founding of one of the schools in 1878. Mississippi A&M, now Mississippi State, was created 30 years after the University of Mississippi, but, quote, because of the disdain dirt farmers had for Ole Miss, per archives. I mean, there's some interesting thing. In the 1920s, Mississippi State baseball coach and former Rebels coach Dudy Noble, that's famous because I think their baseball stadium's named after him, once famously said, "I already know what hell is like. I once coached at Ole Miss." They hate each other. I mean, Texas and Texas A&M, OU and Texas, Ohio State and Michigan, Auburn and Alabama. I get it. I get it. These are all great, right? Baylor and TCU. Let's throw that in there too. All right. But there's just something about these Mississippi folks. It's kind of fun. The Egg Bowl. And over the past 30 times they've played, Scotty, I think it's like 15-15. I think they've split over the last 30 times to play, and they'll get it on, and then everybody will have the rights. In fact, the guy helping President Livingstone craft a lot of these messages, Jason Cook, the chief marketing officer at Baylor, he went to Mississippi State, is where he graduated from. And so anyway, he's got some SEC in his blood. All right, it is time for some Campus Confidential. This can go anywhere it wants to go. We'll get you we were just talking about Baylor soccer. So proud of them. So proud of the program. And Scotty, let's get our folks a quick update. At halftime, the Bears are leading Creighton. These are the men's basketball, by the way. This game on True TV, 44-36. 44-36. And Omar Agbum leading the Bears. He's got 13. And then Cameron Carr has 10 for the Bears to lead that group. And then everybody else doing fine. I was looking to see if anybody Michael Ratai, playing a nice all-around game, has 4 assists. He's the biggest player on the court for the Bears and would be playing the 5 if the Bears had such a thing. But he's basically playing the 5. Caden Powell coming off the bench. And the good news there is no fouls for Caden Powell in his 11 minutes. All right, Caden Powell had 3 fouls in a heartbeat the other night and was not able to help the Bears as they were trying to take down I believe that was the Tarleton State game I'm thinking about. Billy Clyde Gillespie. Bears winning 44-36 at halftime. We'll leave a little bit early today so everybody can take in the second half of that game. And who knows? It's kind of messy today. I was going to say Scotty could run over to Doghouse again. Scotty, I think what makes the Doghouse brat, other than the brown mustard, and I put pastrami on mine, which I don't know. Scotty had a funny pastrami joke. I honestly thought it almost tasted so good it was like house made or something. Like I still kind of would like to know. I think people around us were a little bit thought it was odd that I was so hell-bent on finding out where that pastrami came from. I put the pastrami, they put it on the dog, but I think Scotty, and I'm not a big bread person these days. I'm trying to not do bread, but I think that what kind of bread is that, Scotty? Like a sourdough? The sourdough bun.
No, it's a Hawaiian roll bun.
That's it. The Hawaiian roll kind of makes the dog. I mean, the brat's great, but that Hawaiian roll has that sweet little finish to it. I think that's a big part of it. Scotty, what'd you go with? Remind us.
I had a Chicago dog. I love a good Chicago dog, and they do them right at Doghouse. By the way, they should pay us for how we're talking about them today. But they've got a Chicago dog. You need the full-on tomato pickle and sport peppers. Those sport peppers are nice and hot. I don't want a mild sport pepper. I want it to have a bite to it, and they do. And you get some poppy seeds on there. That's a Chicago dog. And I like a good Chicago. And then I had the chili cheese tots.
Yeah, and I probably should have paid for at least half of those because I kind of got involved in those tots a little bit. Was reaching over there. Those were good. But in good service over there, I enjoyed it. And Billy's a guy who he's a little bit judgy when it comes to service because he has been in the service industry. Scotty, you spent a little time too, but my man Billy, I hope Billy's watching the Mosley show today. I mean, not just because he's getting mentioned, but because he's been a supporter over the years and he needs to be invested in the Mosley show. So
that's right.
I want to make sure he's signed up and all of that. And much like you, he's got a little toddler at the house. So it was good to get you guys out from the house because I know y'all had fatherly duties that occurred that very evening. Scotty, start off. I usually don't tell you how to start off Campus Confidential. You know me, I'm not a guy, a control freak at all or anything like that. But give me the gist of Please Bear With Me with Tim and Ganaway, and you had prepared for that thing by saying, hey, I'm going to be teeing them up, asking the provocative questions to kind of get those guys going. What was your biggest takeaway? Like, what was Ganaway's biggest takeaway on this thing? It seemed like he was bothered by some things in that letter that President Livingstone put out there.
I think Ganaway, probably better than most people, did a really good job articulating why that line about, we expect wins and we don't settle for mediocrity, and why that feels like garbage to a lot of Baylor fans. And Ganaway has said this as long as I've known him, but he's really harped on it this season of he says the standard is the standard. What you allow, and he says what you allow, you coach. And so I think he feels as though, and I think a lot of people feel as though the standards for the football team have been lowered. By the way, I have a visual representation of this at any point. Standards have been lowered. The frequent mistakes, fumbles, missed assignments, etc., are allowed, and Baylor's not going to win football games unless it holds a high standard. And I think that's what was frustrating about that letter was that, we are not settling for mediocrity. And if it's like you actually statistically quite literally are. You know what Dave Aranda's head coaching record at Baylor is today? 36 and 30, 36 and 36.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about mediocre? There he is, 500. You know, I just proof's in the pudding there, man.
Yeah, I would say. I would say it is. I want you to walk us through though those graphics. I really do. I need to see. I want to see those graphics, and I think it shows some of the coaches over the past time. Let's take a peek at those.
Yeah. So I just put these together this morning as I was thinking about Coach Aranda and how you visualize really what this fan base has been through. So here's just Baylor's win percentage under Coach Dave Aranda. And, you know, if you draw a trend line through there, Mosley, that trend line is going to go pretty much straight parallel to the x-axis. I mean, it's going to be a flat trend line. By the way, that 2025 bullet point could move a little spot lower if we lose to Houston Saturday. So, you know, when we're talking about mediocrity, that's what it looks like. There's a high there, there's a low there, and then there's just a bunch of dots floating in the middle. So that's who Dave Aranda is. And what's then really revealing is when you put that kind of arc next to Baylor's previous coaches. Here's Baylor's winning percentage since 2000. So, you know, Kevin Steele and Guy Morris, not good years. There's a little Sean Bell spike there in the middle of Guy Morris, but, you know, otherwise, those are pretty horrible football teams. And then I just want you to see Bryles, there's a dramatic uptrend. And I think most of us assume in that 2015 season, if Seth Russell stays healthy, that trend could have ultimately ended in a national title. I think a lot of Baylor fans think that. You see the really dramatic drop there from 2015 to 2017, right? We'll just call that scandal. Scandal happens, there's a tremendous drop. And look at what Baylor fans have been through since that scandal almost a decade ago. Look at the up and down motion of that line graph. And then it suddenly starts to make sense why Baylor fans are emotional, easily triggered, disappointed, exhausted, because that trend line from 2017 to present is the most dramatic roller coaster of wins and losses you could imagine. Up and down and up and down. I mean, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting as a fan to go through that. You know, I mean, at least I despise the Kevin Steele, Guy Morris years as a fan. You don't want a team that can't make a bowl game. But here's what you see in those years. You knew what that program was. And then there's a period there with Bryles. There's a steadiness there at the top. You're like, oh, you know what this program is. And then with Rule leaving so early and Aranda's inconsistency, you have had these dramatic swings. And this one right here, Matt, just communicated to me, oh, this is why people are exhausted and tired. Yeah. You know? Well,
I get it. And one of the things I've been thinking about, and I visually, that's kind of stunning to see some of that. But we all know it in the back of our minds. Okay, this is when it dipped. This is when Rule brought it back. This was at 2021, which again, we know how much Rule's players had to do with that. But we give Aranda credit because he put some defensive players in better shape. So maybe, by the way, maybe Ron Roberts wasn't so bad. Maybe running off Ron Roberts, you know, after 2022 because he was mean to players or whatever it was. Maybe he wasn't so bad. I can't help but think right now, where the anger and the angst and the feelings go, because you know what comes after that. What comes after that next year is just sort of the melancholy and the you talk about complacency, just the I don't care, I'm not going to spend my money on something ridiculous like that I know doesn't work. Because like even Scotty, Justin Wilcox, I mean, let's not act like Cal Berkeley has had a very good program. In fact, Spavital was there and they had an uptick. This year, they're honestly not that bad. They're like 6-5 or 7-5, whatever they are. They're not bad. They just fired their coach. They're like, we're done.
That was my next story on Campus Confidential. So you nailed it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't help but as Baylor people now look at every firing and go, wait, well, that place didn't take the thought of, well, this is coaching carousel. There's not enough good coaches out there. Let's just stay. Oh, we'll have to pay this guy out. Oh, this and that. Now, let me tell you what those other schools didn't have. They didn't have an AD get himself in some kind of scandal in the middle of the season. So that's where I got to say, I got to have President Livingstone's back a little bit here, is in the sense that, again, she had a lot of bad options here. One option was to fire him on her own and then like race to get an AD in, try to keep a recruiting class together, or not fire him until the end of the season, wait, not put that statement out. I think some of what, like, I saw Colt Barber was upset with, like, the timing of the announcement. Like, let this thing play out like you did in 2023 and then make it. Now, maybe she thought by saying he's coming back that gave this staff a little bit of a reprieve and it gives them a runway to keep some of these recruits. I mean, I tell you what we'll do in a minute is we'll play what Dave said today in response to a question about, like, hey, all this noise and a lot of people want you out. Why should you be back? I would say there's no compelling case he can make like he made in 2023. There's not that, other than, so what she chose to do is this. Stop, just like make a call with head coach. And now they can have a non-rushed AD search, get the right AD. Now, I started to say this the other day, Scotty, and I don't know if I fleshed it all the way out. I have sort of had conversations with people in that world, in the search world, and they say that 90% of ADs would rather have it this way, would rather come into a situation, even though it feels lame duck, where they don't have to somehow race to find a head coach in about a week's time, that they can let this thing play out, put their plan in place, and be ready to either see Dave rally next year or see him crash and burn like he's kind of continued to do, and get ready to make their change. Because then, Scotty, if it's another poor start next year and you go, oh, you could have just done it this year. Well, you'll have an AD on the job who can fire him during the season, get an interim, and then start working toward what Virginia Tech did, what these other schools are working toward. LSU and Florida are ready to go right now. Okay, they made their decision weeks ago with their head coach, and they're loading up, and they're throwing haymakers trying to get Lane Kiffin. Next year, it's either sink or swim. If you're floating around at 5-5 or 5-4, and you're flopping around and you're not getting anything done, you're done. You're done. I think the firing would have taken place. I think the firing would have taken place the other, like after the Utah game. All right. I think Mac would have done it, and I think that would have been it. I think Mac was very upset about where the program was before that UCF game. They thought, okay, let's look for the right time here, and we kind of thought, well, after the UCF, you have a bye. This might be a good time to do it. Well, they beat UCF on homecoming like 30-3, and so you're like, well, that's kind of interesting. Well, they again flatline after that. They come out of a bye and don't look any better, and they get crushed by Utah. And then the other day, so again, you're saying, would Dave Aranda, like we said it though, Scotty, like some of this is not like a new, like breaking news. What did we say the minute Mac went on that leave of absence, that paid leave of absence? We said Dave Aranda has caught a break. The only thing is we should have just stuck with that. Like I thought them getting embarrassed at home by Utah might cause some other things. No, it did not. No, it did not. In fact, before they even played against the Arizona team that's getting better, I mean, think about the programs right now, Scotty, we should be jealous of in the Big 12. Like I would switch. I mean, I hate that I have to say this, but I don't know that there's a head coach out there I wouldn't switch with. I mean, we're running through them in our head right now, Scotty, as I talk about this. I'm trying to think of who's having a bad season. Would I rather have Lance Leipold at Kansas than Dave? Yep. Kleiman, who's crying after the game and all that? Yep. I mean, that's a sad state of affairs. When we're sitting, Scott Frost at UCF, actually, yes. I know Baylor beat them 30-3, but I'm just saying he's a more commanding presence and would get folks more excited than Dave Aranda ever has. I mean, that's a heck of a statement there, Scotty. Now that I think through it, I don't know that there's a head coach. I mean, Sonny Dykes, yep, get him in here. Played for a national title, has a lot more credibility than Dave. You know, and by the way, they went and got a big win. Everybody thought, hey, U of H going to come in here, going to be like 9-2 or something like that when they come in to play the Bears. No. TCU went on the road, fought them tooth and nail, didn't even play that great on offense, and found a way to get it done 17-14, even though U of H has a really good defense. And they fought, and Wigman fought, and that little kicker couldn't make a field goal. But you know what? TCU went and got a win. They went and found a way to get a win. I mean, that is a sad state of affairs, Scotty. There is not a single coach. Dion, I mean, are you asking me that? Sure. In a heartbeat. Get him in here. Have some fun. Have some pride. Have some excitement. You think this fan base wouldn't rally behind freaking Dion? So bottom line is, that is what Baylor is going into next year. There is not a single team in this Big 12 that you would not trade head coaches with, and you're running it back. But again, let's keep the vitriol and the anger and all that. I'm not saying you can't have it. I think it's a big problem if Baylor doesn't have it. If everybody was just like, all right, well, Dave will be back and everybody's fine with it, that's a bigger problem than the anger they feel. But it's bad. It's bad. But here's what I want to remind you, though. Keep the frustration and all the emotion headed in the correct direction. Please. And that's I don't think that's totally at President Livingstone right now. I think she was put in a horrible spot. They were going to have to run. They were going to have to race through an AD search. I mean, let's say, okay, well, what about the UNT coach and the UNT AD? Are we convinced? Are we talking? I mean, I'll say, so Eric Morris, I mean, would it be more exciting than Dave? Yes. Has it been one really good season? Yes. I mean, Dave Aranda got hired based off, they won a national championship. That was one unbelievable season, and he'd been a good defensive coordinator. But that was one unbelievable season at LSU. Have they just wiped it up since then? Has LSU just taken off and been great since then? The answer is no. So she didn't want to rush. They got to get this AD thing right. Mac would have fired him, but Mac got himself caught up in something, and Mac is the one, sadly. And again, I respect a lot of the things he did, and I hope Mac gets another shot, just like Art Briles just got another shot, finally, about a decade later. Art Briles is a head coach at Eastern New Mexico State. But Mac put Baylor in a horrible spot, and President Livingstone did the best she could given the circumstances, and it's not fun, and it's not great. All All right, Scotty, what else do we have? What else did you want to throw out there? Because that was a lot, but I just felt like there were some things that needed to be said.
Well, I'll just real quick. I want to acknowledge the funniest reply I got to my graphs. I appreciate these graphs. Thank you, Dallas Bear 07. That made me laugh very hard. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Matt, I knew we were going to spend some time on this Aranda thing. So the other story I had for you, Yale defeated Harvard to win the Ivy League. And this is significant because the Ivy League is for the first time participating in the FCS playoffs.
Yes.
They are.
Yes.
So both Yale and Harvard made the 2014 bracket. Yale will play Youngstown State and Harvard will play at Villanova. Matt, it's time to start rooting for the Yale Bulldogs, I think, to make some noise in this FCS football playoff.
Are they good? Like, is there some thought that they might? I don't know anything about
they
them.
won the Ivy League, Matt. We're going back to 1904 over here.
Wow. The Ivy League. So those are the only two Ivy League schools that made the tournament?
Indeed.
Youngstown State's going to crush that team. Youngstown State's too good. They've been good for a while now. Now, that other game you mentioned, Villanova, we might have something interesting going on there. Is that who you said Harvard's playing?
Harvard at Villanova. Yes, sir.
They got to go to Villanova. That's a tough environment there. All right. They're at Villanova.
Oh, you've been to a football game at Villanova?
They do a good job there. They got good concessions. That place, you can pack a lot of folks in there to Villanova. And Jay Wright's done a good job over there. All right. What, did you have one more? I'm sorry. I didn't want to play that Aranda and react to what he said today. You want to do that now? All right. This is Dave Aranda had his Monday news conference following the loss. And of course, Dave was asked after the game the other day. I think Zach Smith was there covering it from the Waco Trib. I think most media, TV and everything, are probably not trying to spend their dollars to travel and go cover Baylor right now, based on the way, honestly, the season's going. Although, if there had been a chance he was going to get fired, then probably people should have been there. But they made the announcement that he was going to be retained. Ask about all the noise and the anger and the mad. And I love, Scotty, that people still think, well, if there's enough backlash, would he just resign if people don't want him there? He doesn't. Like, he's not wired that way. He doesn't really hear it like you think he does. Like, he doesn't know anybody's name. He doesn't, I mean, like, even the people who are there covering the team every single day, like, he knows J-Mo's name. He might know like 2 or 3 of our names. He doesn't, like, there's no backlash. Where would he see that stuff? You think he's like in the fan forums? Do you think he has a subscription to Sick'em 365? Do you think he's out there watching 365 Sports? Like, this man is the perfect person to ignore all this. So why would he walk away when they're going to continue to pay him $6 or $7 million a year to be mediocre? What we need in that statement that we didn't get was President Livingstone saying there will be a pay cut. At least that'd make people feel like there was some measure of accountability. Here's the pay cut. Of course, Baylor doesn't put that stuff up. Maybe they will. Maybe I wish somebody leaked that to me. I'm here. If anybody wants to leak that to me, that Dave took hey, Gundy took a pay cut to stay on there. And he actually rallied the troops for a little bit. And then they bottomed out this year. But you know what they did? They said, we're not competitive. We're horrible. Gundy's out after like 2 or 3 games of that season. Gundy, who'd been there forever and is far more accomplished than anything Aranda's ever done. They said, you're out. Baylor's just like, well, let's see what we do here. And then Mac, the one guy I think was mad enough to go fire him, gets himself in some extracurriculars. Goodness gracious. Pitiful. All right, let's hear from Dave today when he was asked about this.
Do you understand the disconnect and frustration? I mean, you try to keep out the outside noise, but do you feel it? Do you understand the level of it?
I do. Yeah, I do. You know, I think that probably came with me just not opening up as much as I probably could. I should have. I just think probably kept the media away too much, and I think, you know, that was probably a bad result. But, you know, I think the stuff that's taken out on me is one thing. And then when you take it out on the team, it's like a whole other thing. And it just doesn't feel right when it's that way. Whether it's, collective team or certain players or certain side of the ball. Because we've got great guys. And we've got dudes that are really committed to doing it the right way. And so I stand with them.
Oh my gosh, Scotty. Now again, that's the old coaching technique. That's a deflection thing. The truth of the matter is anybody out there really on social media like crushing Sawyer after that game when they got beat 41-17? Is anybody out there? It's not. That's a deflection thing he just did. The fan base, for the most part, is they're angry at President Livingstone for making this decision, and they're angry at Dave because they don't care for his style and they don't care for his results, which is totally appropriate. But to act like people are going after the team or aspects of the team, I mean, Scotty, if you can find me, you know, like instances where some of these cornerbacks or some of these, I mean, I think the fan base, for the most part, is just hates all the losing and the embarrassing nature of all this. Their ire is in the same place. Now, I don't know why it takes you 7 years or whatever it is, 6 years, to wake up. I've been saying this. I've been beating this drum for years. You get a good recruiting class, meet with the media, talk about it. You had a great 2021. Let's get out there, take that thing for a spin. Let's get out there, raise some money. Let's get some NIL going. Here we go. The best team in the conference. And it was met with, well, it seems to be working pretty, not him. I'm not saying he was saying this, but behind the scenes, there were people at Baylor who had that snivelly attitude of seems to be working pretty well. No, that's when you put the throttle down. That's when you step on the gas. Is when you're doing well. And believe me, I tried to, I had conversations with Mac about, I was personally offended since he brought it up, since he wants to talk about the media out of the blue at one point. Dave decided, you know what, I'd like they had moved to this thing when they got Taylor O'Brien out, who had been great doing PR, Baylor football PR, but Dave thought that Taylor was making him do too much media, and I think the allegation was sort of like Taylor was making him do stuff with Taylor's friends or something. I think that was whether there's anything to that, I don't think so at all. But that was kind of what so they got by the way, Brent Ingram, the football SID, is a good friend of mine and does a really good job, but he has to work within the parameters, and Dave does not like doing any of that stuff. So it's really interesting to hear Dave go, oh, I should have probably been better with the media. I've only been saying this for like 3 or 4 years. Like if you open up a little bit more and you do some more media and you're open to it, and even this year, going into that TCU game, Brent or whoever from Baylor got him to do an interview with the ticket in Dallas. It was kind of out of the blue and weird, and I'm like, what's going on? And they loved it. They loved having him on. He did a nice job. He's good at that stuff. He's fine at that stuff. But he thinks so little of the media, like it's unbelievable. And it's not just me. he finally cut out Smokey, me, everybody, and just like, I'm not doing any more of that stuff. I'll do the thing I'm required to do on Mondays. I'm not. And what Baylor did to try to make it work and to keep him happy, they've like coddled him beyond belief. But that horrible 2023 season, before that season, you know, in the past, it had been at ESPN 1660. That's the flagship. Whoever we decided would interview him would get an interview with him one week, and then the other week he'd do something with Smokey. Smokey had been at 1660, maintained a really good relationship with Baylor and Mac, and so that's kind of how that worked. So I would get him one week, and then the other person. So poor Brent has to have a conversation with me one time in about 2023 along the lines of, yeah, Matt, I'm so sorry about this. Dave has decided he wants, John Morris to represent the station. First of all, he shouldn't get that call, and it was chicken, what, of our station to just let this happen. But they don't, they didn't want to make a big to-do of it or fight it. And so John, who does a 1-hour show on our program, of course, I was doing a 3-hour show on the program. John, it's not like John desperately wanted to do that, but John's a company guy. He's a Baylor guy, and I love John. He's a great friend of mine. He didn't do anything wrong. But so Dave decided, and I'm just like, what in the world? Think about this. I'm a Baylor guy. I've been extremely respectful to Dave, and whatever the explanation was given. And again, not to shoot the messenger. This was all Dave's fault. Dave wanted to just, Dave, when it comes to media, wants comfort and wants. So there he was. He would do a Wednesday show with J-Mo, and then when it was time to do his deal with the station, he wanted that with J-Mo too. And then the other week he would do it with Smokey. And then after the 2023 season, he just swears us all off. It's like, I'm not going to do any of it. So if you're wondering why the media, you go, well, is the media, if Dave had shown up, like Art Briles, and of course that thing just got out of control. But Briles, Rule, Guy Boris, whoever's been, they were all smart enough to go, you know what? If we spend a little time with this media and we treat the media one way, it's probably going to help. And it'll probably help when we go through tough times to know that we have that kind of relationship with the media. The kid, the young guy that covers Baylor for the Waco trip, Zach, he's at every game. He's at every practice. He's at every time the doors are open, he's out there. Has that earned him any sort of special treatment with Dave Aranda? Zero. Bryce Cherry, been doing it for many, many years. Sports editor at the Waco Trip, the paper of record on this beat. Does that get him any sort of special access to Dave? No, nothing. So anyway, I just wanted to say, that's an interesting thing to hear Dave say, because I've been beating that drum like crazy. And when that thing happened, and Dave said he didn't want to talk to me anymore. I rented up believe me, Mac knew about everything. But again, Mac had bigger fish to fry than making Dave talk to Mosley. All right. I know that's hard for me to admit, but I understand it to be true. And he had a lot of stuff going on. But it's just you cannot imagine how soft this guy is with the media. And in a bigger market, they wouldn't stand for it. It'd just be like, this is crazy, this guy. So here this guy is in the perfect market for him. He can be quirky, he can be quiet, all this stuff. And he still is like anti-media. I don't want to know these people. I don't really want to spend any time with them. That's his attitude. To heck with it, okay? And to heck with even coming out and saying, I could have been better in the media. People have been trying to tell you this for the last 3 years. I mean, and you were just like, oh, no, I think I'll just. So again, he knows he should have been fired. It's crazy. Like the thought that he's even still coaching is just shocking, even to him. He knows in almost any other Power 4 job he would be out. But because of the Mac timing in this instance, he gets to coach another year. Who am I happy for in this instance? You know, I'm happy for some of those assistants. Jared Anderson, Keenan Hall, like that they may leave. I don't know. They may leave because they may not want to be a part of a lame duck administration here. But I am happy for some of those people who've done a Dallas Baker, who do a really good, even Pallage and those guys that do a nice job recruiting. I'm pleased for them, but I'm very sad for just the entire Baylor family because this was a shot across the bow at the entire fan base. But just one more reminder, put all your anger, let's be a little careful here because it's like, I think it's fine to be upset with President Livingstone. I think it's fine to be upset. You know, I just, but with Dave especially, but just this thing that probably is not happening this way without Mac. Mac put him in a horrible situation, and he knows it, and that's why I haven't been trying to pile on him too much because he has lost his career, and on his own he did it. Okay, nobody did it to him. Although, well, I mean, who knows? I don't know who turned him in or whatever, but he's lost his career. But that's why they're in this position, that they couldn't fire this coach. And even Aranda knows he should not be coaching this team next year. But he's been given this golden ticket. And you go, why would he even want this? Well, folks, I'll give you about 6 or 7 million reasons, okay, for that. All right? And to think that really any human would just sort of walk away on their own from that much money is crazy. And I do think he cares about his players and cares about the job he's trying to do. He's just not doing a very good job. All right, Scotty, man, thank you, buddy. We're gonna leave it with you, and we're gonna kind of watch the end of this. I've been trying to track the Baylor Creighton game. We'll get involved in that. We'll react to it all tomorrow. Thank you, Brazos Landing. Thank you for what you do, and we love the Lindsays, and they've had a member of their family that had some illness here and has had some major stuff going on, and we're praying for them. But we're very excited for our next visit to the Brazos Landing. Scotty, have a great one. Lizzie, the whole gang, for Rogue Media Network, Corey Dickman, and the entire operation. This is Matt Mosley. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:00.